Hello everybody, we really appreciate you guys stopping by for another one of our weekly tech videos. My name's Nick with Scoggin-dickey, and today we are going to be talking about the oil system for your engine. But specifically, we're only going to be discussing the oil filters. There's just not enough time or bandwidth on YouTube to handle a video about oil discussion. So today, we're going to be covering oil filters. Specifically, one oil filter that we keep in stock here, a pretty high dollar unit made by K&P Engineering. And I'd like to briefly thank a guy on Reddit of all places. I believe his name was Rapskillion Dweller, I believe. I appreciate the idea. He actually posted in a group that I follow about engine building, asking about these oil filters. A lot of opinions were exchanged and a little bit of misinformation, so we thought, why not explain a little bit of what's going on with these things? These billet aluminum oil filters are a really neat modular design. They're milled out of 6061 aero-grade billet aluminum, and they have a neat twist-released element in the center. So y'all can pull this out and inspect what's going on in between every run. Now this is mostly a race application, but we want to do a little bit of a comparison. If you remember our fuel filter video, I happily cut up a fuel filter so y'all could see what was on the inside of it, and I couldn't turn down the opportunity to do the same thing with an oil filter. Now, these are AC Delco oil filters. These are actually pretty high quality oil filters these days. Brands like AC Delco, Wix, a lot of the OEMs use pretty high quality oil filters. Now these are for more of your standard application, more of a street performance oriented build. Of course, you can actually see us use this exact oil filter on the 5.3 dyno video when we tested a bunch of our cams. So definitely a good quality piece, but what about the next level? And that's where this comes in. See, paper element oil filters are anywhere between 50 micron to 300 micron. Of course, the higher the number, the not so great they are at filtering your oil. They let more pass through the higher that number is. To give you an idea, a white blood cell in us is about 25 microns. Now these are more kind of around 50 to 100. I say that with some variance because this paper, the cellulose style paper element, these actually kind of vary. Some spots you test are very tight pleated, but just naturally the design of making these, they can also vary on the higher end. You got some real cheap filters out there. We won't say any name brands, but they do a pretty poor job of filtering your oil. So regardless of what you learn today, if you can take away anything, always use a high quality oil filter. It's worth an extra couple bucks, believe me. This is a consistent 35 micron filter element. It is made from medical grade stainless steel. It's a woven stainless steel. It's hard to see there. We'll get a close up for you here. This is consistently 35 micron filter element across the board. There is no variance because of the way that it's made. Of course, being a billet aluminum construction on the end caps here and some super high quality adhesive on either side, this will handle 1,000 psi, which is more than any of us are ever going to use. It also handles over 600 degrees. Keep in mind that even when you're racing your car, it's never more than about 250 to 300. So again, way overkill, real high quality stuff here. They even include a neodymium magnet right there as an extra catch as this is coming in to grab some of the more ferrous metals that accidentally might have started to pass through if you're having some engine failure. But that's what these are for. These are for racing applications. This is for when you are going in between heats, in between races, or for some of you guys, you know, maybe a mile or a half mile build car, you're wanting to take this apart in between runs and inspect it. And of course, these are reusable and cleanable. While this is for racing applications, this is actually pretty good for the environment. We don't have to crush one of these up and throw them away soaked with oil. These can actually be soaked in solvent, cleaned, and reused. So that's actually a pretty good feature as well. And it helps because while these are a higher dollar filter naturally because of its high quality construction compared to a cheaper paper filter, it is nice to reuse these because that saves over time a little bit. Now, I've told you a little bit about this and you're probably sitting here wondering, you're going, well, where do I fall in that category? I got an F-body, I got a Corvette, I got a Turbo Silverado or even a Mustang. Well, to be honest, this is a racing only application. You can absolutely use this on a street car. It's just a little bit overkill. And I don't know if you'd get the return on using one of these versus one of these because this is still a high quality filter. As you've seen, we used it in our dyno video. We use these on our personal vehicles. But the guys in our race shop, they love these filters. They use them all the time to inspect customers' engines in between dyno runs to make sure there's no failures, to make sure nothing's going on. Our race shop customers love them too on their own vehicles for the same reason. They can go in between heats or events and check to make sure that they're not having any, catastrophic failures. If they are, they can catch it early. And that's good news. That can really save you a lot of money in the long run. Another thing I like about these, they include some pieces. Of course, they include a very perfect fit oil filter wrench to take this on and off. But they include another one of these O-rings here. And just the attention to detail and the high quality of these filters, this is what they call a quad core O-ring. It's one piece, but these little corners, if you can see here, they got kind of these rounded edges on it. The reason it's shaped funny like this, they spend an extra couple pennies to make sure you get the high quality stuff. These seal better at higher pressures. They are also better at being reused. A standard, seal on the bottom of an oil filter, really only one-time use, maybe two-time if you get lucky. Hopefully none of y'all are reusing these kind of filters though. But you, of course, are going to be taking this apart constantly in between races. You need to make sure that this is going to withstand being torqued and loosened and retorqued and loosened again. You don't want to leak. You don't want any issues. No oil on the track, no oil in your car, especially no loss of oil pressure. I hope I was able to answer some questions for y'all today about these oil filters. There's, of course, a lot of choices out there when it comes to the paper filters, but these high-dollar racing filters with these stainless mesh, there was a lot of misinformation I was kind of reading online about them, not just in the comments for our gentleman here on Reddit, but of course in Facebook groups and forums. A lot of people make a lot of assumptions about these with not a lot of research. They are a high-dollar piece, but they really get the job done. Thanks again for stopping by for this week's tech video. Make sure to join us next week for another one. If you could, give us a like, a subscribe, and a share on both Facebook and YouTube. We're wanting to spread as much of this information as possible. And again, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, drop them in the comments below. Like I said, I got this idea from another guy online, and we appreciate it very much. See you next week.